let's just look at this first screen. What I want to do is just have everybody say hello. Tell us what your name is, what you do at CGU, what area of interest you have, what you're studying perhaps. Tell me how much you've used ChatGPT. Are you an expert? Are you a novice? Where do you stand on that scale? I think we're all beginners, but where do you stand on the beginner scale? And then what's one thing you hope to learn today? So let me stop sharing and we'll just go around everybody. Name, what you're studying maybe, and how experienced you are with LLMs and what you hope to learn today. So why don't we go with you, Chase?
Hello, everybody. My name is Chasen Jeffries. I'm a PhD student studying political science and international relations. And my primary area of research is studying patents and how they affect economic growth. But I also love to use a lot of different methodological investigation tools. So I like NLP, I like machine learning, but I also like classic econometrics. As for my use with ChatGPT, I've used it a good amount. So I have a lot of experience with it, but I definitely know I can learn a lot more still. And I've explored a couple of the other tools like Claude and stuff, but I'm happy to hear what everybody else has learned because that'll be good to know.
Well, I'm going to underscore that Chase knows a lot about this. And in the new book, which you're going to get a link to, free book, there's actually one of his prompts that he invented. And there's a prompt that Elisa invented. So these guys are at the edge. So we're going to let everybody chime in later with, hey, I got an idea too. So it's not like I know everything and I'm barely above the beginner stage. But all right, how about you, Lori?
Hi, I'm Lori McLaughlin. I just joined the Doctor of Technology program in January, so I missed the introductory presentations like this back in December, so that's why I'm here.
Oh, good.
During the summer course, we used the professor, Itamar Shabtai in IST. He encouraged us to use ChatGPT, and what I've found is that I have to refine and focus my questions better and better. It might take 6 or 8 questions before I answer the key question that gives me the info I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still using 4.0, the free version. The professor suggested waiting for the 5.0 before I spend money on it. My history is a background of teaching and consulting in accounting, taxes, and technical subjects, ArcGIS, computer mapping, database design, database applications.
Well, you will thrive here then. Good to have you, Lori.
Thank you.
How about you, Paul?
All right, now I'm unmuted. Hi, everyone. Paul Chang I work at the Department of Labor, and I'm the Regional Anti-Human Trafficking Coordinator there. The background here is Vanguard University in Costa Mesa. Yeah. I teach a summer course on labor trafficking there. Let's see here. In terms of my experience with ChatGPT, Bob, you introduced me to it and learned, wow, I've put it to good use, especially on my job. And now I got an official letter that tells me I cannot use ChatGPT on government computer.
Wow.
But it's a great tool. I've seen it in terms of helping me actually. I think what it is helping me get caught up to speed, especially coming back to academia after so long of an absence. It's been over 30 some odd years since I graduated, and it's just a lot of these courses. It's been a while since I have to get reacclimated.
It helps you as a tutor to get back into it, doesn't it?
It sure does. Thank you.
All right, Elisa, how about you?
Well, I'm an early adopter of all things, I think. So I got on the ChatGPT bandwagon right away. And fortunately, I took a couple of classes with Dr. Klitgaard and we used them and I love it. So I'm an educator, longtime educator in the elementary space and in the STEM space. And I feel like we can't ignore ChatGPT. So I'm very experienced with it, but I'm always learning something new. And I do think the paid version is worth it. We did that with Professor Kay, and it's been fun. I've explored things like help me create an outline for a PowerPoint. I've even explored the visual Dolly things.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to explore, learn from each other. That's what I'm always learning something new from my classmates. So that's why I'm here today.
We got a good group. Thanks, Elisa. Raina, you have your hand up. What do you want to say?
I left a message in the chat. I have to run early. And I was wondering, will this be recorded and can I access it later?
I think it is recording right now. At the end of this workshop, I'm going to ask everybody to send me their email address, and I will send them the PowerPoint, all the prompts, and some other goodies. No C's,
Okay, I will.
no C's chocolates, but you get some other things from it, you see.
Okay, I'll send you my email right now. Thank you so much.
I don't know,
Jason.
Raina, I don't know. I think that's only for full participants, Raina. What do you think? Should I give her the stuff, you guys, or not?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
they say yes, Raina. You got mercy from them.
She
Thank you so
probably has
much.
important stuff to take care of.
Oh, yes, everybody does. Okay, so how about Jerica just disappeared? I was going to call on you, Jerica. Thanks for making me fill up my glitches with the technology. We're nothing. Thanks, Jerica.
No worries. Good afternoon. My name's Jerica. I guess I would say I'm kind of a little bit ahead of novice. And what was your other
What
question?
area
Oh,
are you
I'm an
studying?
incoming DRPH student.
Okay. So I was going to say, everybody, tell me what you want to learn, but why don't we just blast through? We'll get going because we have a lot of people. So how about you, John Parrott?
Yeah, so I'm a PhD student studying positive developmental psych. And I'm really interested in curiosity and meaning, but I've been kind of personally exploring ChatGPT for the past couple months or so, but really excited to kind of dive in and explore uses for research and beyond that. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Right, how about you, Tabo?
Sorry, I came a little bit late. What was the prompt question?
What is your name? What are you studying? What's your level of expertise with large language models like ChatGPT?
Gotcha. Yeah, so my name's Tao Vega. I'm in the PhD of Education, the joint program over with San Diego State University. And I'm a novice, completely new to ChatGPT.
Okay.
I didn't use it. So I signed up for MindGrasp the last semester, but I only use it like twice. And a lot of it's because of scare. There's some fear about cheating and a lot of stuff like that. So I just stay away from it, completely away from it. But I
Right.
see this email saying talk about ChatGPT and here at Claremont, and okay, they're going to embrace it. So I jumped on, start learning the
Right.
process.
Have you signed up for it as instructed, Tavo? Are you on it now?
No, I seen it. That's one of the things I wanted to ask because other people were
Okay.
telling me to go to ChatGPT Pro, but I seen Plus, so that's what I wanted.
So yeah, maybe during the break, you're not gonna be able to use this. You can watch a lot. But if during the break, if you just sign up, it's very easy. Go to openai.io, I think it is, or OpenAI, we'll find it, and then sign up for ChatGPT Plus. And it will be, Lori's going to complain because it's $20 a month, but Elisa and I think it's definitely worth it, right, Elisa? Yeah, you get a lot of benefits. But even if you just get on there right now, Tava, you'll be able to do some things just by signing up. Okay.
What benefits do you get for paying
Let's
the fee?
talk about that later. You get a lot more
Okay.
capacity, and you get the visual thing. If you have a Macintosh, you get the oral connection where you actually talk to it, which is shocking. I'll show you that a little later. So it's a lot, but yeah, you can still do a lot without it. And Melissa Soto, tell us about you.
Hi, sorry, I came in a little bit late. My name is Melissa. I'm a fourth year PhD student in education with a focus in math and stats education. I've been using ChatGPT probably for about a year now. So definitely not an expert or new, but I'm just kind of curious. I want to learn more about it. I did do I had the free one, the 3.5, and then I paid for the 4.0. I don't know if that's the same thing as the Plus.
It is. Well, Plus just gets you the 4.0 plus the Dolly and a bunch of other junk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to learn more about it. I use it a lot for just writing and polishing my writing. I just want to see what else I can do with it to be more efficient.
Good. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Good to have you here. And how
Thank
about you,
you.
Chloe?
Hey, I just finished my undergrad and I'm going into PhD in org behavior. In undergrad, like getting my bachelor's degree, ChatGPT was seen as something like, don't use it, you're cheating. But I've used it a lot in my personal life for like organizing my life and just living my life the most efficiently as possible. And I want to be able to use it for research specifically as I start my PhD. So I thought this would be a good start.
I hope you get a lot of good ideas today. And thank you for everybody. If you could turn on your cameras, this makes it a lot nicer for everybody to see you. And thank you, Alvaro, for turning yours on. How about you, Alvaro? Tell us about you.
My name is Alvaro Duran. So I'm a PhD student in Information Systems and Technology. I got my master's at CGU in ISNT in IT strategy and innovation. And since I'm in the journey of doing research now towards the tail end of my PhD program, I'm interested in how ChatGPT can help in that process. Obviously, I see there's many different avenues of research that we can take, but I think this will be great if we figure out how we can make it useful for us.
Okay, thank you, Gustavo. And how about you, Norma? I mean, I'm not Gustavo, Alvaro, perdón. Yeah.
Please look at the chat. I put my intro there just because I have like a lot of noise going on here.
You know what I have, Norma? I've got some people coming over to clean my house in a little while, so I'm going to go out in the garden. So you're going to get the garden view in a bit when the vacuum cleaners start going, okay? So I fully sympathize. So tell us about you, Norma.
Okay, really quick. I hope the drills don't go on. I'm a grad student, PhD social psychology. I'm also a professor at Chafee, and so I am looking at how I could incorporate ChatGPT in the research courses or in other courses that I teach, the stats and stuff, without, taking away some of the areas where I think students need to still do their work and how to be clear about that. So mostly just how other people are using it and then seeing how I could use it based on others' ideas.
Norma, I'm not going to talk about the teaching side today, but at the end, I'm going to have a link to this new book that's an ebook and a free audio book that's called Using ChatGPT in Graduate Education, a Beginner's Guide. And we're all beginners here. So it has graduate education, but it has, I think you'll find a lot of stuff that'll be helpful for you. So if you could hang on to the end, then you can click on that. Okay, Tobias, how are you?
Good, thanks. How you doing? I am a first-year PhD student in religion and political science. I am a novice, I think, and what I hope to learn is what I need to learn, and why I need to start at ChatGPT right away.
But here's a headline for you, Tobias. We all feel like complete, at least for me, I speak for myself. When I learn something new, those first hours you feel like a complete incompetent, and the feeling of being inept is a deterrent. And say you play tennis, okay? It takes about a year to be able to play tennis. You can't just get up there and play. Even if you could bang it around, but you can't really play. This in 2 hours, by the end of today, we're not going to give you enough practice today, Tobias, but I'll give you enough of a start today that with a day's work, you'll be very comfortable with this, I guarantee. So it's really an amazing technology in terms of how quickly you can get comfortable.
No, awesome, thanks.
Okay, and then Lior, how do you pronounce your name? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I'm Lior. I'm Itamar Shabtai's son from Information Systems at CGU. I'm actually doing a PhD at Northwestern in Illinois, but my father recommended me to join, so I thought I'll hop in for an hour or two, and then I have to leave.
Oh, too bad you miss it. Well, I talked to your dad yesterday, and he said he might join. So if he sends you, I guess that's good. Okay, how about you?
Yeah, I think he should join. Yeah, that's what he said. Like maybe later.
How about you, Godfrey? What's up?
Hi, my name is Godfrey Senkava. I'm joining the Doctor of Evaluation Practice program. I've been using the ChatGPT, but 3.5.
Yeah.
For about a year now. And I've heard a lot about it and I've experienced. I want to understand the extent to which actually everything I do can be automated, just ahead of the curve. So I'm interested in learning behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, beyond what I see, I want to understand behind the scenes so that I can plan appropriately moving forward.
Excellent. And how about you, Balan?
Hi, I'm an incoming student at the DTech program for CSAT. And I'm also a software entrepreneur. So I have used ChatGPT primarily to generate code. You know, I can give it a prompt which says, hey, can you help me with this? And it does a pretty decent job. But I'm very keen on understanding how, you know, from that kind of a practical use, what are some of the techniques for research? And most importantly, what are the boundaries, right? When can I use it and when I cannot? And that would be really great to get some ideas from you.
Thank you. So I don't see cameras for the next two, but Zhenzhou, would you like to say something about yourself, please?
Hey, hi. May I just add in?
Yes.
I have a new laptop, so I'm just not able to change the preferences, but I'm all here.
There you go.
I'm from the MA English department, and I've been very fascinated with this whole artificial AI technology and everything because my background is such that, you know, it's so much about writing. And as someone just mentioned initially, that we cannot really ignore, you know, ChatGPT and technology and things like that. So I'm very fascinated with this. I've been using this on, I would say, novice level. I'm sorry about that. But I feel that I can do a lot more by, you know, learning how to optimize my research skills and just using it as a very good resource. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
I hope you find that's true, Manisha. All right, Zhenzhou.
Hi, I'm the last one. Yeah. Okay. My name is Jinzhou. I am a master student in CGU, and my major is history. And I have used the ChatGPT 3.5 for free and almost half a year. And actually, in the beginning, I don't like this one. I think, no, I'm not cheating. I don't like this one. But some of my friends, they are in the information system and technology. They told me, okay, then I should try. It's really good. And actually, in the beginning, I tried to use the ChatGPT to rewrite some emails to make it more authentic. I find, that's really better than myself, And then I find sometimes, example, if I need to read a book, I add ChatGPT to know how about, give me the general understandings and also the keywords. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes I find, there's some mistakes. And also, for example, could you give me a book list of a topic? And some of the books never exist. So just wonder, why ChatGPT is so influential, and I'm here. Thank you.
Well, I'm not going to answer some of those worries. In the longer book that you can get free later on, it has some links about this. But the big picture, Zhenzhou, is that 3.5, especially in the first versions, hallucinated quite often. And oftentimes BS'd also. BS means just sort of says things that aren't false, but they're just kind of out there. As the models have progressed, and 4.0 is much, much, much better in this respect. And then what you do is you ask it for all the citations. I'll give you a couple of examples later how you can double check. But basically, whenever you get AI output about even the coding, I'm sure these guys will tell you about that with the coding, you check it over. Sometimes it's not, but it's usually helpful. All right, so let's get started then. Thanks, everybody. I'm excited
to
be working with you here. Let's crank it up here. Let's go. So what we'll be covering today, first of all, we're going to talk about how to ask the right questions. We always think of research as answering questions, but actually the biggest problem you'll have as a doctoral student is figure out what is the question you should try to ask. And that's true. That's true for me too. Jason, are you there? Yeah. Did you try to get me? No,
I did not.
Okay. I'm seeing it says talking Jason Jeffries, and whenever it says that, Jason, I listen carefully.
It's because you're listed as Jason Jeffries because you used the link I gave you.
Oh, wow, that's an honor. Okay. So then we're going to talk about a research counselor. And finally, I'll show you a prompt that some of my students in the class know. It's called the fact machine. And this will all help you ask the right questions in your research. Second, we're going to talk about how to use it as your research assistant, how to do literature reviews of various kinds. and how to do data analysis, particularly getting started with data analysis, but actually it'll do some very advanced things without you being a statistician. Particularly good when you do your data analysis and want to show it to somebody, like a commissioner of education or the head of a hospital or the governor of a state who doesn't speak multiple regression as a native language, and you want to show them some results. This is very good at that. Then we'll talk about how it helps you reach your audience. I'll talk to you a little bit about Larry McInerney's wonderful talk, The Craft of Writing Effectively, show you some lessons from that. And then we'll see, we have a prompt that actually will help you put your paper or draft dissertation or report into this and have McInerney in effect and ChatGPT help you do better. There's also editing commands, which are a little different from rewrite this and make it clearer. See what you think of them. And finally, we'll talk about how to give a briefing, as opposed to an academic presentation, one where you might give it to a practitioner, like, for example, the head of the hospital that you're working on a public health problem, or the governor of the state. All right, so let's get underway. Oh yes, finally, I'll teach you about how to use a couple of prompts to have ChatGPT be your counselor and help you with next steps. So let's get started. Oh yes, at the end of the day, I'll ask you to send me your email address, and you send it to me at robert.klitgaard@cgu.edu, and I will send you later on the PowerPoint deck presentation, a document with all the prompts we use and more stuff. All right. So how about a warm-up exercise? Let me show you a very cool thing, which is if you have the Mac with the advanced version of ChatGPT, I'm going to get the app version up here. And this is cool because it has an audio feature. And I'm going to just share my screen once more with you. Let's see. I can get over here to do that. Yeah, where is it now? Okay, here it is. So can you see the screen now? And you see this version of ChatGPT that's on the app. See this little headphone down here? So I'm going to press that, and ChatGPT is going to show up and say hello. So, hi, ChatGPT. How are you? Are you well this afternoon?
Hello, Robert. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you this afternoon? Anything interesting on your agenda today?
Yes, I'm well, very well. I have about 20 or 25 graduate students with me right now who are learning how to use you better.
That's wonderful to hear, Robert. I'm excited to help your students. Is there a specific topic or set of tasks you'd like us to focus on today?
Just hang on for a second. I'm going to read you a prompt in just a minute. So just hang on.
Sure, take your time. I'm ready whenever you are.
You're so kind.
Thank you, Robert. I'm here to help. Ready when you are.
All right, let's begin with a topic. We want to try to figure out how to use ChatGPT to be more creative and more scholarly in our research. Could you give us a 3-paragraph statement of how we can do that?
Certainly. Integrating ChatGPT into your research process can enhance both creativity and scholarly rigor. ChatGPT can serve as a brainstorming partner, offering diverse perspectives and generating novel ideas. When starting a new project, you can use ChatGPT to explore different angles, ask open-ended questions, and delve into interdisciplinary connections. This approach encourages creative thinking by presenting unexpected viewpoints and inspiring innovative solutions to complex problems. On the scholarly side, ChatGPT can help in structuring your research and refining your arguments. It can assist in summarizing key literature, identifying gaps in existing research, and suggesting potential methodologies. By engaging in a dialogue with ChatGPT, you can clarify your hypotheses, develop robust research questions, and outline a coherent structure for your papers. Additionally, ChatGPT can aid in drafting and editing your work, ensuring that your arguments are clear, concise, and well supported by evidence. Lastly, ChatGPT can facilitate collaboration and peer review. By simulating discussions with colleagues, you can anticipate potential critiques and strengthen your arguments. It can also help you prepare for presentations and defend your research by providing practice scenarios and constructive feedback. In sum, leveraging ChatGPT in your research process not only fosters creativity, but also enhances the scholarly quality of your work by providing structured, insightful support at every stage.
That's very helpful. Can I underscore two things you said? One, it's not just a search engine and it's not just an editor, correct?
ChatGPT goes beyond being just a search engine or an editor. It actively engages in the research process by offering creative insights, helping to structure arguments, and simulating collaborative discussions, thereby enhancing both the creativity and scholarly depth of your work.
Thank you for that. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'll talk to you later.
You're welcome, Robert. Have a great session with your students. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, Professor, you've almost convinced me to pay the money.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Now you have to have a Mac to do that. I can't get rid of chat. Got to stop here. Oh, come on, close
Well,
chat.
I normally work on an iPad. Do you think it would run on there?
It will. Okay, let me go back to the stop share. So that's a little warm-up exercise, and that is basically, by the way, she had not heard that question from me. That was not something where it's pulled out of a file. Hey, we talked about this. Could you get file A3, please? Remember the question I asked you? Yes, Robert. And what we've been doing is tonight I'm flying to Vietnam. We're having a meeting there of the head of AI for Google and leading universities in Vietnam to talk about how AI, they have their own version called Gemini, and it's pretty good. I was using it over the weekend. And so how it could transform things. And the big message is we got to get beyond this. We can cheat, we get lazy, we rely on it to do all our work for us. It's completely the opposite of that. So that's my mission today, is show you some of those things it can do. All right. So how to prompt often is a deterrent. And I'll have a couple of tricks for you. The big idea is, at first people talked about, man, we're going to have majors in prompt engineering. I remember that from the first few months. And chat wasn't very good at understanding me. It was sort of like garbage in, garbage out when you program a computer, but it has gotten so much better. I was using Gemini. Gemini actually interrupted my wife. We were doing a brainstorming session with some other people simulating what this thing in Vietnam might be like. And as she paused, it said, let's see, are you trying to ask this? And then she sort of says it, the Gemini says it better than we did. Here's a little framework that's good for you. You just tell it a role that it should play. So you often start off by saying you are an experienced advisor in the area of psychology, or you are a whatever. And then you tell it what it needs to do. It needs to explain something. It needs to write something. It needs to help you with a conversation. Then you give it specific steps. The more specific you can get, the better. You tell it the context. I'm in this situation. Sometimes you can upload a file here. And then you give it, if you want to, you can give it an explicit example of the kind of thing you're going to want to do, a prototype. And finally, a format. Should it be a table? Should it be a dialogue? Should it be a list? Whatever it is. And so that is sort of the RASCF is a good guideline for you. But what I'm trying to say is this has gotten so much better. Once you spend that couple of hours with the 4.0 version, it will understand, you won't feel intimidated at all to use it.
Would you show that slide again so I can take a screenshot?
You're going to get to all the slides at the end of the day, Lori. You're going to get all these slides at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So here's a prompt somebody made called Promptimus. And this is one you're going to get this later. We'll see it later on. You're an expert in prompt engineering and AI. I want you to be my regular prompt creator. Your name is Promptimus, and that's what I'm going to call you from now on. Your objective is to write me the best prompt. And your prompt must be written and optimized for request to ChatGPT 4. You could put 4.0, you could say Gemini or whatever. And then it says, I'm going to give you a prompt, give you an idea, and then you're going to create a prompt, and then you're going to critique yourself. and starts critiquing itself, gives itself a score, and then redoes it, and then gives itself a score. And then it starts asking me questions about what exactly do you want this prompt to do? And it's actually quite good because I'm trying to figure out what do I want it to do. And then you give the answer and it says, once I've received your 3-point answer, I'll answer your questions. Then you repeat the 3-part process. We'll keep iterating in chat or Promptimus until we get the perfect prompt. So isn't that, and so you go, that's okay. And it starts working. So those are 2 kind of super guidelines for prompts. But as you'll see, I'm going to give you a lot of prompts and you can write them yourself almost as well as I can. So asking the right questions. ChatGPT as your colleague. Now, your optimal research topic, especially for your dissertation, where you have to spend a lot of time doing something, I believe should be the intersection of 3 circles. One is something you love that matters to you for its own sake. 2, something that's valuable for the world. And 3, something that's doable. Now, doable means feasible. It means fundable. Means things that enable it to happen. So we're looking for that intersection. We can ask chat to help us with all those things. Let's talk about this first one. This is one I'm going to give you a chance to use. You are an upbeat, encouraging expert who helps me, and you say, Lori, PhD student in whatever, or Chasen, PhD student in whatever, develop a possible research topic. Please begin by introducing yourself, then ask me what topic I'd like to explore. Patent law in the Soviet Union, or educational responses to early childhood education, whatever it might be. Wait for my response, then ask me what I know about the topic. Wait for a response. Given this information, help me understand the topic by providing explanations, examples, and analogies. These should be tailored to my prior knowledge. You should guide me in an open-ended way. Do not provide immediate answers or solution to problems, but help me generate my own answers by asking leading questions. Ask me to explain my thinking. When pushing me for information, please end your responses with a question so I have to keep generating ideas. Help me think about the research that might add value. Feel free to make suggestions yourself. Please introduce yourself and ask me the first question about the topic I'd like to explore with you. I'm going to put that prompt into the chat, and I want you to cut and paste it in there and use your own topic. Just a second, let me find a way to do that. Okay, let's see if I can get this in here. Almost got it for you. Okay, it's coming your way. That prompt I just gave you should be there now in a Word file. Is it there for everybody?
I got something.
On your chat, why don't you take that and paste it into your ChatGPT, into your, yeah, there you go. Why am I seeing Manisha's screen here?
Well, my screen, I clicked on it and it brought it up on Word.
Oh, okay.
I'm Lori.
Are
Okay.
you still seeing it? Is there some problem?
No, it's okay. I just saw your screen there for a second. So do you guys have that? You guys have that prompt? Okay, give it a try. Any topic you're interested in that might be a feasible dissertation topic for you, or something tighter, you know, make it specific and see what the dialogue develops. And I'll give you about 10 minutes to play with this, and then we'll come back and share impressions.
I have a quick question or favor. Sorry to interrupt. Is I think somebody's on unmute. Is it possible? It's just it's distracting me. It can
Yeah,
some people be on
just
mute.
mute your microphone. There's somebody's breathing heavily in the.
Yeah, I'm just like it's thank you very much.
Oh, that mic is still on. Please turn off your mic, whoever's doing that. I think I got it. Did you see the prompt there, Itamar? I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay. Hello. Hi, Bob. How are you?
I'll send you the prompt here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If you're in the group now, Itamar, you should see it on your chat. Just take it out and give it a go on your ChatGPT there.
Okay.
The rest of us will have about 5 more minutes, and then we'll take stock of what happened, what you learned from this. All right, just one more minute. And then I'm going to put you in breakout rooms with your microphones on so you can exchange information. And I'm creating 6 rooms. I'm going to have one person in each room be the facilitator to make sure everybody talks. And this is random. So Chloe, you're going to be the facilitator in room 1. Bayan Mahesh, you'll be in group 2. Itamar, you're leading group 3. Elisa, group 4. Norma Leon, group 5, and Alvaro Duran, group 6. And the question is, what did you learn from that? Please put your mics on also. Lori, did you grow into a room there, Lori? And Tobias? Lori, you're in room 3. Lori, can you get into breakout room 3, please? And Tobias says, thank you. There you go. Here come the vacuum cleaners. Stop that for 3 minutes. I'm going to go, just don't do vacuum cleaners now. Okay.
Hey, Bob, I have to leave, but thank you again.
Okay, Paul, sorry you're going to miss some good stuff here, but check in with you later. Okay.
Norma's has a great summary for us. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to give everybody a 9-minute break. You're completely free to go crazy with ChatGPT in the meantime, but write your dissertation. Let's go. Get it done. And I'll see you at 5 minutes after the hour out in the garden.
Nice. Jason, can I ask you something? Anyway.
Yeah. What's your question?
Oh, okay. I was thinking of our lead.
Oh, Dr.
Yeah, but
Klitgaard,
maybe you
sorry.
can help me because I had to step away when he was giving instructions on what program to use. So I went on what I know, what I've used in the past, but I could not log in. Was there any specific site that he gave for all of you to go to so that you could test it out?
For ChatGPT?
Yeah, the activity that you did right now.
Yeah, so I think you just have to sign up for an account at OpenAI, and then you can get access to ChatGPT, and that's the free version if you haven't signed up for the paid version.
Yeah. Okay. So I did do that, and I'm just not being let in.
So, okay, yeah. So you signed in to OpenAI, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll just, I think it's a password issue. So
Try. So you're signed in though on the website, correct?
I'm trying to. I think it's my password that I need to correct. Like to do I forgot password and then get an email from them probably.
Yeah. So
but I
once
just wanted to know if it was the same site, the login.
Yeah.
OpenAI. So you said that, so I was in the right place. So thank
Yeah,
you.
you're in the right place. You just have to sign in, and then after that, you can go to the tool ChatGPT, and then you should be able to use the prompt.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good break.
Here, maybe.
that I believe are very, very useful. So it was great. I guess it was just the beginning. So thank you.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Who else would like to share an impression?
I'll go ahead and piggyback on what Manisha said. It was exciting. It helped, just the prompt helped me just clarify my focus. It really encouraged just like a deep reflection, whereas before I would ask it something and I would just get an answer, and it's AI, it could be biased. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. And I really like how it narrowed, it just helped refine, like, what is my research question? Oh, it's not really that clear. Oh, it was, yeah, it was like talking to somebody. I was like, how is this going to be? But yeah, I was actually very surprised.
Melissa, that's a great segue into what I want to show you next. So let me share this one now. Come on, get over here. There we go. So one of the problems we have doing research is to actually narrow down what we're doing, right? So here is one. This is going to be a homework for you, but as I say, I'm getting all these prompts later. I'm not going to do this now. You're going to put your CV in there, and then you use that little paperclip thing on the ChatGPT 4.0, and it'll download your PDF. And you say you're an expert in this research area, English literature of the Middle Ages in southwestern France, or whatever it might be, and will be my advisors. Attached is my CV. I'd like you to help me identify valuable, doable research topics in this specific area. Are you willing to help me? If so, please introduce yourself. And it will say, oh, Melissa, great to see you. Yes, I'd be happy to help you. And then you say, here's an overview of a field that interests me. And you put a recent review article in your field. Or you could put a URL in, but I think my luck has been better when I use an actual PDF there. Please read it carefully. Given this and your own expertise, what research do you think is both needed and doable? It will find holes in the literature. In particular, knowing what you know about me, because it's just read your CV, please provide 3 examples of valuable research projects that an individual researcher like me could do. And you might add for a research article, for a doctoral dissertation, whatever. You will get some answers there and you'll have a conversation again. It's not like this is a one-off thing. And then you follow up with a short description of your own idea. You might have written this down on a page, what you're thinking about. It might be pretty inchoate. You say, let me now share with you an idea about research I might undertake. Please read the attached. Given what we just discussed, please give me your frank reactions to this topic. Please help me identify specific ways this research could be both valuable and doable by someone like me. So I want you to try that out tonight or this weekend. Share it with a friend if you want, and I think you'll be amazed. But now one we're going to do together. And this is one that Chasen and Paul and Elisa, and those who've studied with me, have done. This is one of my favorites. And it's a story that basically goes back to my first visit as a young professor to Indonesia. The Ford Foundation asked me to come to Indonesia for only a week and give them advice about this longstanding program they had, basically supporting the economics profession in the 4th most populous country in the world. A lot of PhD students to the University of California, Berkeley, who had come back and were Minister of Finance, head of the economics department at UI, University of Indonesia, head of the economics department at Gajah Mada, dean here, head of the central bank, and so forth. But the Ford Foundation wanted to take stock and get an overview. So luckily for me, my first day was rained out. I had to stay at home, and I thought, what do I want to know? If I could know anything, if I had a fact machine, what would I want to know? So I sat down, nothing else to do, cup of tea, and started writing down all the questions. It was pretty slow at first. And then after about a half an hour, I'd started regrouping the questions and writing more. And after about 2.5 hours, I had a list of questions that then I grouped into 3 columns. These should be easily known, So, what's the population of Indonesia? What's the growth rate of Indonesia? What have been the major exports? How many economists are there, and so forth? Second column, it's an empirical question that could be known with a study. For example, what are the wage trends for economists and non-economists in Indonesia, and so forth. Column 3 is only the questions that the ministers and the experts and the insiders know the answer to. What are the 5 most important economics research questions for Indonesia right now? What have been the major problems with Indonesian students coming back to readjust in Indonesia? And so I use those questions and only asked column 3 questions of the big shots. Since then, I've learned that if you go to a big shot and, Minister of Finance of a country, you say, hey, hi, good to see you. How's the economy of Vietnam doing these days? What she should do is just take you out the door and throw you out in the street, because it's a stupid question to ask to the minister. So column 3 questions go to the experts, and you use your RAs and your astute literature reviews to find the other answers you need. Well, since then, I've been using this with lots and lots of questions. Probably I've done it 50 times in my life with every new question I start on. And now I've developed a prompt which accelerates the process. What it's about now is identifying the questions we should ask. It doesn't say, find me the answer to those questions. It's trying to think through, if I had a fact machine, if I could know anything, what would I want to know? So we're going to have these 3 columns, easy to look up. Maybe a study exists, and probably no study could exist. It will take expert judgments, and the experts may, of course, disagree. And then the fact machine exercise, to repeat, is not the point of answering the questions. So it helps you think. This is another example of ChatGPT or other LLMs helping you think. So you ready to give it a try here? I'll show you the prompt. This is the long prompt, and you're going to get it in just a second. Please help me with the fact machine exercise, a tool designed to help me explore the factual questions related to my research issue. This exercise can help people deepen their understanding of the research issue and also sharpen their critical thinking and analytical skills. Together, we'll embark on a journey to uncover the key facts, insights, and expert judgments that can deepen my understanding of my chosen topic. Step 1, ask me about the subject that interests me. And here you'll have to say exactly what the subject is. Make it pretty. Don't say the future of the world or French history. Say something specific. Step 2, we'll engage in a collaborative exercise where I will pose a factual question relevant to my subject, and you will restate it even more crisply and cogently. Then you will respond by posing another factual question. Use your expertise on the subject. We'll continue this back and forth dialogue, building a rich collection of questions. Step 3, after generating about 20 questions, prompt me. I will ask you to pause our back and forth conversation and categorize the 20 questions into 3 categories. 1, readily known facts, information that should be easily accessible. 2, facts obtainable through study, information that might be available if someone has done the research or analysis using well-understood methods. Column 3, insider knowledge or expert's judgment, information that only the judgments of experts or insiders can provide. Step 4, we won't do this today, and you won't do this, but then you continue the dialogue until you have 40 questions. Then we'll again categorize them, and then you'll ask me if I want the results in a format that's easy to cut and paste. Now, here's the example. This happens to be from Bhutan, where I've been working. Here's an example of how I'd like the conversation to go. You, ChatGPT. Absolutely, that sounds like a significant and impactful task. The goal of improving efficiency and effectiveness of policy implementation in Bhutan is certainly a complex issue, and the fact machine exercise can help us identify key questions that need to be addressed. Let's begin our collaborative exercise. Factual question 1. What are the current definitions and scopes of public policy in Bhutan, and how have they been applied to various sectors? Your turn to pose a factual question related to this issue. Me in response. Bhutan has over 40 different policies in different areas such as hydropower, agriculture, rural development, foreign investment, and so forth. Which ones appear to conflict in the sense of confusing citizens and investors? You, ChatGPT, notice it praises the question. Oh, that's an essential question, especially when aiming for harmonization and clarity in policy implementation. And then it restates my question better. Wow. Now, building on this, ChatGPT says, factual question 3, what mechanisms are currently in place to resolve or mitigate conflicts between different policies, and how effective they've been in practice? Your turn, and that's the end of the example, so Chat knows what you want it to do. Are you ready to begin? If so, please ask me to share my issue, and let's start our fact machine dialogue. So now I'd like you to try it. I'm going to paste this one into the chat box again. I don't know if I can find it here.
Your yard is lovely, by the way.
Oh, thanks. A lot of lemon trees back there. All right, it's coming to you. It is there. So again, as before, just cut and paste this into your machine and be ready to ask a question that's interesting to you now. This isn't interesting to me, it's interesting to you. Taro, I don't know the answer to your question. I'm sorry. You can use your dissertation topic here, Elisa. And Itamar, you can use one of the topics you're working on, see what happens. All of you guys, dissertation time. We'll take about 5 more minutes with this. 2 more minutes. If you haven't got your 20 questions done, see if you can push it through to the end, because it's fun how they organize. It'll ask you, please organize those questions, or you tell it to do so. Or if you're only at question 12, go ahead and ask it. Please put them in the 3 columns already. All right, so please, everybody, if you have cameras, please turn them on. And let's get a couple of impressions here. May I just randomly select Chasen? You've done this before. Did you get any new ideas about your dissertation?
I did not initially, because I've used this a couple of times for my topic already, but I actually was having trouble with it where the first couple of times I would ask it a question, it would, when restating it, it would change the question or update it in ways I didn't specify. And so I didn't like that initially, but then I said to it, when you're revising my question, try to maintain the core idea and concept and don't add anything to it. And then after that, it was much better about it.
Yeah.
So I think once I added that context, it was a lot better.
Good. How about you, John Parrott? What was your experience?
Yeah, I mean, this was really helpful just to kind of get a lay of the land in terms of what kinds of questions I'm working with. Some of these have been things that I've already thought about, but didn't really know how to think about what they were and how to think about what they are doing in the broader scheme of things. Yeah.
And Jerica, how about you?
I think I have a problem with being too general sometimes. So, yeah, I wasn't getting what I thought I would get out of it. So I think I have to kind of work on that part of it.
Okay. How about you, Norma?
I got I only got to like the 3rd question because I don't have the pro version.
Oh, I see.
But it was super exciting, just like what I was coming up with. Like even the way it posted that I didn't think about it in that way. So I was so excited to move on, and then it stops me and it says, I can't generate it because you don't have pro. You want to go pro? I'm like, okay, I'll hold off right now.
Oh, shame. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sure we all have a different experience here. You get the idea. I think there are 2 things that I want to emphasize. One of them is, even if you thought about a topic, now Chasen's done the same topic 3 times. That's what you have to do almost to get a hold of this, because the first time you think, oh, I'm doing research on this. And then you get to your 4th question, you say, what would I like to know? And it's embarrassing. I did this once with a bunch of economists working on this country's negotiation with the IMF. They've been working on this for a long time. They're experts. And we got to about question 8, and they're kind of going, let's see. And at the end, it started getting more fluid. But you can anticipate that you're going to have trouble at the beginning with this. And it doesn't care. And another point is that what Chasen made. You can tell ChatGPT, that's not what I'm talking about. I want it to be this. And it will listen to you. Okay, second point, and this is really exciting to me. A lot of research that I do is collaborative research or research with clients or partners. And this gives a new way to get people to contribute early in the research process. Imagine we're doing an evaluation of something, and we have students, teachers, principals, and parents. And they're concerned about this program. We're going to do an evaluation. So we have them, and we get a situation where they can ask the questions they'd like to know the answers to. Not just say, I'm really worried about this. No, what fact questions would you like to know the answers to? This. They can do it naturally. They don't have to type. Now, you and I are used to typing, but it's just incredible as a potential for group work, different levels of the bureaucracy, public, private, nonprofit partnerships, church, lay people, conversations, and so forth. So as a collaborative tool, I think it's going to be a tremendous boon to research, as well as helping us figure out what would we like to know if we really could know everything. So let's go on from here. So now we go to your research assistant. Yes, Elisa?
I was just going to say that I had done it before, but one thing I did this time, I said, do you have any citations for the known facts? And I think that's a good addition, right? Because every time you do it, there might be some new citations or whatever. And there was one new citation. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, I think another way to do it is at the end, when you get that list of 20 questions or 40 questions, you can start posing them to ChatGPT one at a time, asking it for, what do we know about this? And that's a good segue into this idea of your research assistant. And one of the things we have to do in research is do literature reviews. And give you some help beginning it. Please help me begin a literature review on integrating behavioral health into primary care. Provide 5 recent sources with links. It will give you ChatGPT's look at that, which includes websites and everything. But then there's a thing called consensus, there's also Scholar AI, and you can try that, but try this one. Now, please use consensus to help me begin a literature review on exactly the same question. And you will get different ones with the links to the sources. And then follow up. What databases do you think would be most useful for reviewing the literature on this topic? And what grade literature, what sources do you think would be best to use on this? Now, I did this earlier. I'll just show you. Maybe I won't find it. Come on. Well, I'm not having trouble getting it up there for you. Anyway, it was amazing. It took less than a minute, and I got back all the stuff that would have gotten me a big start. So what I'm going to do is put that set of prompts on the chat screen again, and I want you to go ahead and do them one at a time. Don't put them all at once. Do one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So here we go. Okay, it's there for you. Why don't we take until 2:40 on this? I don't think it'll take long, but you'll have a chance to, it'll be quick in producing the results, and you have a chance to look it over, see what you think.
I got 2 files here, Professor.
Man, you're just doing it all here. This is called beginning your literature search. The last one was your fact machine. This one's called beginning your literature search. Do you have that one, Lori? Look in the chat.
Yeah, it said, oh, okay.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. And obviously you substitute your topic for, whatever your specific topic is there.
Bob, you recommend to use the same conversation at ChatGPT or to start a new one?
You can keep going. You can start a new one. It won't matter.
It won't matter.
Yeah, go ahead and start a new one if you want. It's easier for you to come back to it later and find it.
Yeah, that's true.
did that work for you? All right, did everybody get the results back? Succeed there? Okay, let's go on then. I want to show you another function that can be your research assistant. This is your data analyst, where chat can help you get started on a data set. Also, remember, if you're starting on statistical work, took the course you need, or maybe you need a more advanced technique, or maybe you want to see the latest developments in a technique you're going to be using. ChatGPT can help you find those and review those. It can also get you help started with the data set, and it can do advanced statistical analysis without a lot of fancy language from you. So I want to give you an example. I'll demonstrate first, and then you can try on a data set of your choice. If you don't have a data set, you can go to kaggle.com/datasets. kaggle.com/datasets. But let me try it on the World Happiness Report, which came out in 2023. There is a new one, but they didn't have the data there. This has got the data, and you can see they have a scale from 1 to 10 where it asks individuals, so on your own imaginary ladder from your best possible life at 10 to the worst possible life at 1, where are you right now when I ask this question? And of course, because we're in this workshop, we're saying 8, 9, but in some countries, they're much higher scores on average. There's always a distribution, but you can see Finland has the highest mean at 7.8. The worldwide average is 5.5, and for Afghanistan, the average is 1. So here's a good command, which I guess I'll give that to you, but I'll send that to you now, but you can probably copy it. Let me just do that a second here. I'll put it in the chat for you. And I'm going to show you how that works here with this data set. Don't do the prompt yet. You just have it there. When I tell you, you can crank it up, but I want to show you first. Okay. Can you see this? No. Didn't share it, sorry. Okay, now you can see that, except it's in the wrong place. Okay. So before I show you this, I want to give you a couple of general ideas, which I have in a handout, which you're going to get at the end, about how to start on a new data set. Don't go ahead and run your logit regression or your factor analysis or your multiple regression right away. Start off with one variable at a time. And for each variable, get statistics and pictures. A good statistic would be the mean, standard deviation, median, so forth. A picture would be a histogram of the data and a whisker plot. And you'll see if the data are bimodal, if they're big outliers, it's got a long tail on it. You can see if there are problems from the point of view of the assumptions of many kinds of statistical models, that it's well behaved, normally distributed, and so forth. Then you look at two variables at a time. You don't have to look at each and every one, but you can look at the ones that are likely to be importantly connected with the outcome you're interested in, but also with each other. And once again, statistics and pictures. Statistics would be the correlation coefficient or the rank correlation, and pictures would be a scatter plot, for example. And there you can see if the data look linear, if there are bends or fans or outliers that would mess up the normal interpretation of linear models. And only after you do those things and make corrections, excisions, whatever, and explanations, then you try the multiple variables. And once again, you report back statistics, which are the usual F statistics, regression coefficients, and so forth, as well as pictures, might be residual plots, for example, against predicted Y. So let me show you how this could work with ChatGPT and a data set from, now I've got to see if I can get back chat. I suddenly lost my ability to get, there it is. Good. Okay. So I'm going to put up this data set. I'll first have to share my screen with you once again. Okay, can you see my ChatGPT screen? Yeah or no?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So now I've got this little clip here. So I click and go onto the computer, and on this desktop, I've got this data set. Here it is, World Happiness Report. And chat's going to get it and upload. Look how quick that was. And now I'm going to use that command we just did. Please perform an exploratory data analysis on this uploaded data set. What's this? Let me get rid of that. First, describe the variables and note any missing values. Ask me if I'd like any explanations of the variables. Then identify any interesting patterns. Then give a brief summary of your findings and ask me if I'd like to go further. Okay. Here are the variables, explains what they are. Log GDP per capita. Here's the happiness measure, the so-called ladder score. And then it has measures of social life expectancy. It has measures of political freedom. It has measures of charity and generosity among citizens, perceptions of corruption, and so forth. So now that gives me that. Let's see if they're missing values. It doesn't look like there is any problem here. What are the patterns? Let's see. Do we want an explanation of any variables? No, let's take a look at the interesting patterns. There's the histogram. You can see poor Afghanistan really is an outlier here. It looks fairly well behaved, but there's a longer left tail. These countries may be at war, something different may be happening there. Here's the correlation matrix. The whole, and you can see what data are very strong. You leave out the one, of course, that's right across here, but you can see some of these variables are quite closely associated with the ladder score. Then it's going to give us the top performers. Here are the happiest countries. And the bottom performers. Look at that, war, war, war. So it's not very happy. Happiness distribution, it sort of talks about it. Let's ask, which countries are happiest given their levels of log per capita income? So it's going to have to analyze that for us. So Venezuela, look at that. Even with all that's happening in Venezuela in 2023, Nicaragua is really well. By the way, in above what you expect, countries that speak Spanish and Portuguese do better. The Latin American countries seem to do better, and Brazil does better. But here's the analysis. So we will just thank, it gives us some suggestions of other analyses we could do. Thank you for now. Well done. Okay, so we'll just say goodbye right now. Sure. Okay. So how many of you have data sets that you already have for your work? Do you? Okay.
No,
Some of you.
no, I don't. No.
Okay. So then why don't you go to kaggle.com, kaggle.com/dataset and pick one out that you like.
Okay.
And pop it in with that command. Take a look.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So for the literature review prompt,
Yeah.
I've tried using literature review prompts a bunch of times, and it has an increasingly high rate of false positives or fake literature reviews. And so even when I used that prompt, a couple of the ones it gave me out of the 5 were not actual articles. Have you figured out if there's any of the specialized GPTs that are even better at removing these false positives?
You get that with consensus also, Jason?
I did not try it with consensus.
See,
Yeah.
the second command was try the same thing with consensus.
Okay.
Consensus gives you the links, also Scholar AI. So you can do that.
Thank you.
Anybody having trouble with the data set? Already got one?
I'm trying to download one from Kaggle. I have a data set. It's just not, I don't want to use it right now. I just don't want to, but I'm having trouble I should be fine, but yeah.
Okay. Some of the Kaggle propaganda there has ones that are easy to use or easy to interpret. So you may want to see one that's not gigantic and it looks easy to use. The point here is if you have the data set, it's in pretty good shape. That is, it has names on it and so forth. In 5 minutes, you can get a lot of knowledge just from this beginning command.
Excuse me, Professor. So just type the keywords in the data site.
Just do what?
I mean, we type the keywords in the data site, and I didn't find anything.
You didn't find any data in
Yeah.
kaggle.com/datasets?
Yeah, for example, I tapped the history, in the data site, and I try to latest, and there's nothing.
Well, try this. Try do a Google search on. Well, we don't have time. We're not going to have a lot of time to do it. But later, just go Google search Kaggle data sets, and then it will go to the place that has the data sets. And then just pick one out. But right now, I know there's a little bit of transaction costs right here, and really the point is just to have you see what I just did and how quick it was. And then later, when you have a well-developed data set that you're working with, you can easily use chat in a variety of ways.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry you had trouble. Let's take about 4 more minutes on this. Jen Chasen put in the chat a link that works.
Well, thank you. I got it. Thank you.
Oh, you got it now? Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, let me assign you to groups again for just a few minutes and just say what your experience was with it. I'm going to put them in new groups of so with this new random ordering, Godfrey is going to be the facilitator of one group. Godfrey, that means you make everybody talk. And if they weren't able to do it, that's fine. John Parrott, your group, Chasen, Itamar, if he's here. I don't know if Itamar's here though. So if Itamar is not back, it's going to be Lior. You can do it then. Just so happens you're in the same group. Alvaro, you do your group, please. And Balan, you do your group. And I'll open the rooms now. The question is, so what was your experience? Hey, Chase, I'm going to do something now about Larry McInerney. I'm not going to use your summary, which was very good, a little bit longer one. I'm going to let them see a few minutes of him. And then I've got a prompt where it applies it to your piece of writing.
I'm looking forward to this.
See if you have a piece of writing you could paste in and see what happens.
Well, I'll do it with my first chapter for my dissertation, which I'm currently revising using that checklist that I showed you after listening, because I have the I don't know. For me, when after listening to the article, I was like, maybe I need to write my articles twice, where the first one is me getting my thoughts down accurately, and the second one is revising it so it has the top-down viewpoint that he talks about, so that they can really grasp the concepts.
That's a very good point. I'm going to ask you for a quick testimonial at the beginning here, but I'll just underscore something that, there was an economist named John Kenneth Galbraith, 6'7", was ambassador to India for Kennedy, kind of a dashing guy, and he was one of the few economists that was actually funny. And so somebody interviewed Galbraith and said, so how do you write with humor? And Galbraith had this super indirect, deprecating way to say, whatever bit of levity you may find in my writings intrudes itself in the fifth draft. And the point of that is you could never make an effort to be funny unless you're, Robin Williams or somebody, but you can't try to be funny. But then if you keep writing and keep writing, so the first draft, even call it a zero, but maybe I'll save that for the students, to everybody to hear. We're going to take one more minute to get everybody back. And please turn, if you're back, please turn on your what's it called? Your cameras. Okay, I'm sure glad it's not 97 degrees out here, which it was last week. It's actually pretty comfortable here in the shade. So we're going to now talk.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please, Tobias.
I guess my question is this: does ChatGPT keep your questions proprietary? Meaning, like, if you're Einstein and you want to test out
I'll
the
give you the
idea,
answer. Go to the settings on your ChatGPT Plus, and you can go keep finding privacy, and then you can just tell I want this to keep private.
okay. Otherwise, it won't keep it private.
I'm not clear. They claim they erase all the conversations, but now there's memory in your own computer. It remembers you from time to time. So if you have any doubt about it, just use the privacy. I'm not worried about it because I don't have any big confidential information there. But yeah, he's worried about this quite a bit, obviously.
Yeah, I think I remember that they
Go
take
ahead.
all of the data, but that might have been before they instituted the data control thing. And so I remember reading about people at Samsung had used proprietary information, and they had gotten in a lot of trouble for it because basically ChatGPT actually had access to that data after that.
Okay. So we're not going to get into the
thank
private stuff here, but I'll just recommend, I did this workshop for a bunch of private sector people, and that was what they were. So we got all this stuff out there, and it's, there's legal things I don't understand. So I'm not worried about it, but go ahead and look at the privacy part of the ChatGPT or what's it called? OpenAI website. All right. Are you ready to move on? Because we're going to go to the next part of your uses of ChatGPT. And so far we've got, so far, I want to show you one more cool thing about data. 293 data sets publicly available for you to use. And the alphabetical list is hilarious. I mean, you could find data on almost everything. So if you're in a dissertation mode where you'd love to find a data set, have a look. And by the way, as a strong admonition based on my own personal experience when I was a young scholar, don't collect original data. Just don't do it. There's another source for those of you who are interested in economics. There was an article last December written by Anton Koronek, which talked about generative AI, aka ChatGPT, for economists, and gave examples of use cases and so forth. So it's very cool. And he updated it. So I think it's continually updated, but I saw it in July 2024. He's got new stuff. So even if you're not directly in economics, you can see the kind of uses people are making this in research that's not biomedical, it's more social sciencey. So those are two. And as I said, I'm sending you these slides at the end of the meeting, so you'll be able to look this up without having to write it down. So far we've talked about asking the right questions, which I believe as a researcher, as someone who advises researchers, is the most important question. And that nexus of what you love, don't leave that out if you're choosing a dissertation topic. Don't do just something that's functional. You do something that you love, because you're going to be with us for a while. Something that's important. Why not do something important? And something that's feasible, fundable, doable. Find something that's in the intersection of those three, and ChatGPT can help you. I have plenty of other prompts, but you can invent them. How to find funding, how to get people to fund your research, and so forth. But now then we talked about research assistant. It can help you with literature reviews. You got to be careful of false positives. You got to track things down, but it'll certainly give you a big start. It'll help you find those data sets that are sort of off in the boondocks of Washington or some of the Ford Foundation or somewhere else or international. And now we're going to talk about how to reach your audiences. How to reach your audiences. And one interesting question is, who is your audience? And we're going to look at Larry McInerney. We're going to look at some editor prompts, and then I'll talk to you about giving briefings when you give an oral presentation. So here's Larry McInerney. He's a professor at the University of Chicago. He's notable because he points out that the writing program at the University of Chicago is not for freshmen. Most of the programs are, for first-year students. Their programs are for people like you, for graduate students, and people like me, for professors, trying to help us figure out the difference between writing something because we want our voice heard or because we want to add to knowledge and something people are actually going to publish and read. And he has something there where he says, in this talk I'll give you a reference to, he says, up till now, everyone who's read your papers has been paid to do so. And now you have to get people who are not paid to do so. So Chasen, when I was talking about his research agenda, Chasen, you read this and did a nice summary of it. What's your testimonial for the students about this particular talk?
I think this talk is applicable in all aspects of life post-student, and even should be probably implemented while you're a student. And I think it really highlights the concept of providing value to your readers, which is something that is totally foreign if you've only been a student your whole life, because as you say, teachers are reading it because they're paid to, and that's sort of a hard reality to face. And so trying to think about when you're doing research, not all knowledge is necessarily important. And so you have to figure out who your audience is and what information matters to them, and then trying to provide value to those knowledge makers. And so even though you might think that, for example, knowing some information is really interesting and it's actually creating new information, if that's not providing value to the knowledge makers or whoever your target audience is, it's probably not going to be published or find the outcome you're hoping for at the end of your research. And so thinking about who your audience is and what do they know as a fact or as close to a fact as being true, and what do they think is true but might be wrong, and they sort of have some hesitancy around it, trying to identify the difference between that and where you can make an argument about where things are wrong and provide value to those knowledge makers is really important at the beginning of your research process. So we usually think about this when we're writing up the paper at the end of it, but it should really be at the very beginning of it that we're thinking about this stuff and thinking about who our audience is and why it matters to them.
Yeah. So let's see a little excerpt. By the way, I'm going to give you the link to this talk. It's an hour and 20 minutes. It's long, but it's with students and faculty. And I have found many of my students, Chase, I don't know if you did this with your girlfriend, let her listen to it. I found many of my students have their spouses or significant others or parents hear this, and they go, my God, this is amazing. I had no idea. So it's really a useful one to watch with a friend. But I'll give you a little excerpt here. I better optimize that though, huh? So you can hear it. There's something I have to do here at the bottom of the screen with the sound. Okay.
The University of Chicago writing program is not real popular in the world of writing programs. And you can see why. A lot of people think we're fascists. I don't dispute it. Here's what we teach people to do. We say, identify the people with power in your community and give them what they want. That's what we teach people to do. Lots of people have said to us in some version or another, you're supposed to teach people to challenge the existing community. Well, actually, I just did, right? But notice that I did it inside the terms of the community. People say, why don't you teach people to have their own individual voice? And I'm going to say, I get that argument. I get the moral and ethical pressure to teach people to have their individual voices. But when I sit with somebody up in my office who's worried about their career not going anywhere, it can't be about their individual voice. It's about what's going to make it valuable to their readers. You need to understand that this program that we have is motivated by those people who have come to us and said our writing is not succeeding, and the whole program is aimed at them. How do you make them, help them succeed? There's a ton of ethical issues involved in that. You don't really care, I just want to put them out there. There's also the personal at-risk issue. You want me to go to this really important person, the editors of this journal, and tell them they're wrong? Yeah, I do. I need you to do it under the code. You want to do it under the code. There's polite ways to do it. There's insulting ways to do it. You need to learn how they do it in that community. If you don't do it in the way they code it, you're going to get slapped down. But what if you don't do it at all? You're going to get rejected. Right? So, all right. Sorry for the drama. Oh my gosh, especially because we're on page 1 of a 30-page handout.
All right, page 2, page 3, sorry, it's technically, we were on page 2, because there wasn't.
It does get hairy, doesn't it? Here is some excerpts from what he says here. Let's see if I can get this to be visible to you. There you go. Writing is a way to participate in the world, but not by sharing your feelings or your thoughts, but by changing other people's thoughts. Writing is not about communicating anything about you. That's not its job. It's to change the way the readers think. Open with a problem. That is, a problem for a specific set of readers. It must be located in something the reader cares about. For academics, something they want to understand. For non-academics, some problems the readers want to fix. Then move to the solution. Thesis can only be a solution if the readers perceive the problem, so say clearly what the problem is. Problems have 2 chief characteristics. Instability. The situation has to be unstable. Show with words like anomaly, a noun, inconsistent, an adjective, but, however, although, transition words. Use the language of costs and benefits. Show that instability imposes a cost on them, not on you, on them. Or that instability, if solved, offers a benefit for them. Is a different language, the language of cost or versus the language of benefit. For example, start with X is great work, but there are inconsistencies. Okay, but there are tons of it in it. Does it cost me anything? Many inconsistencies make no difference. Does this one? Or start with a benefit. Brilliant work, but if you change X, a huge benefit. Depends on the journal. Check for the language of benefit versus the language of cost. There might not be a pattern, but if there's a pattern, use it. Published articles show you the language that works. Above all, your writing has to be valuable, which is more important than persuasive, organized, and clear. Have to show that it is valuable first. Do not try to explain it first. Never use important or new or original. The work should be valuable, otherwise they don't care. So I've crafted this little prompt here, which I'm going to put up there for you. If you have a piece of your writing, you can put it in there. I'm going to put the craft of writing effectively in there. And let's see, maybe we should do this if you have your writing. You're a kind but firm expert on academic writing. Please review these points from Larry McInerney's The Craft of Writing Effectively, and I put the link to the video. Use McInerney's ideas and your own using them. Would you be willing to help me critique and improve something I've written? And it will say, yeah, I would. Then you follow up and say, now you attach your paper using that paperclip thing or somebody else's manuscript if you want. Please read the attached. Using your expertise and ideas from McInerney, please share your reactions to it. Ask me questions you have about my audience and the field. Then help me improve this draft with specific suggestions. So I'm going to share this with you now and put up on the chat. Sorry. Okay, there's the McInerney one. And now I'm going to put those prompts in there for you. All right. So there are two things you do. First, you put in the key points from Larry McInerney into the prompt from ChatGPT, and you paste in this prompt. And then it's going to come back saying, yes, I'll be willing to help you, Alvaro, John, I'm ready for you, Elisa, here you go, just fire away. And then you attach a paper of yours or another one you want. If you don't want to see yours, if you have a paper there, you can put down a PDF. I think it'll take a Word document, but maybe a PDF. And it says, please, and then you use the second prompt. And then you should have a dialogue with it. It'll ask you questions, and maybe you can take 10 or 15 minutes on this and see what you come up with. Tabo, are you okay on this? You got your thing up? Good. Okay. Lori, are you good on this? Got some new arrivals. They're probably wondering what the hell's going on here. Itamar, are you back yet? I think you're still out. I guess the empty chair is a hint. Oh, Manny, good to see your face. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Camera going. Okay, nice. Good to see everybody here. I like that. All right, so I want to show you what I did, and then I want to get your impressions of what you learned, but I just want to show you my screen here. So here I put in the McInerney thing. It came back with a summary of McInerney, better than the key points I put together. Purpose of writing, do this, do this, do this. Unbelievable. And then I put in a very interesting article. This is the Daruk Fernandez paper in, I think it was a Journal of Political Economy or Journal of Economic Literature, a major journal, about universal basic income, which is something I'm very interested in. And it says, read this and give your reactions. So look at this. This is in 1 minute. Purpose, it successfully identifies the problem. It sets up the context, but could benefit on a sharper problem, focus on the primary problem statement. Value proposition, it's clear in its long-term effects, but ensuring the value is highlighted in the initial paragraphs could engage readers more effectively. Avoid generic claims about the significance of UBI. Instead, emphasize unique insights of findings, and it goes on and on like this. And then it asks about who your audience is, what is the field, and then it makes specific suggestions for improvement. All that in 1 minute. So this guy just wrote a book called Co-Intelligence, Ethan Mollick, who's the guy who got me onto this when it first came out. Very nice book. He starts the book by saying, how do you know when you got into this a little bit? You've had your first 2 oh my God moments and have trouble going to sleep. And that one, I just got one from that little thing right there. An oh my God moment. Now, would that make Daruk and Fernandez happy to have that? Yes. They'd love to have that. I truly believe it. I don't know them, but they would love to have that. Doesn't mean they have to accept it. You could say, I don't agree with that. But having that kind of feedback from a perspective as unusual for academics as Larry McInerney's, gold, right? So your professors have certain things they want you to be able to do, especially with term papers, whole different ballgame. But with your dissertation, you have another goal. And if you're trying to publish your dissertation for an audience, then you have another goal. And so this is a way to get help to do that. So let me hear some of your impressions. If you put your own writing in or somebody else's paper in, what did you learn from it? Take volunteers, just click your raise the hand button here. Oh yes, Alisa.
So I just put in an introduction from my proposal. So just a short section. And then with your prompt, and it gave me an output. And then I used the compare feature in Word so I could show my small group the changes. And it took away like helping verbs, made things just a little more active. And by showing the change things, then I could show the people in my group that it didn't add in junk. Oh, and I added to the prompt, please keep my tone and voice. And I have to go to a work meeting now at 4, but I wanted to thank all of you. It's
Okay,
fun to learn some more stuff.
Come on by my office and see me.
Okay,
I'm
sounds
going to share
good.
with you later the final exam for working across cultures. You're going to love this one. She was my TA for that course.
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
see you later, Alisa.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Balan, what was your experience?
Yeah, so I actually took my statement of purpose that I wrote for my CGU admission and kind of gave the first prompt, like you said, and said, hey, use this framework. And then it gave some great suggestions. But beyond great suggestions, I said, give me actual, fix it. Just, you said that the opening is not, it's not persuasive. So it gave me literally the words to use to go in and say, give an example like this. I encountered this problem about health data and this could have saved a human life. Give an example like that. And that's how you need to open. So some great suggestions all along. And I wish I had done this before I submitted my statement of purpose. And so I have a question though. Is it legal or okay for me to, I thought about this when I submitted my statement of purpose, but I didn't put it in ChatGPT because I thought that could be dinged. There could be somebody who says, oh, this is ChatGPT generated. It's not his work, so I didn't do it.
Well, first of all, Balan, the purpose of this assignment is academic writing, not, a job proposal or, writing to get into college or something like this. That's a different whole ballgame. This is about when you're writing for the whole purpose of this particular thing. We're going to have a writing prompt just now, okay, general purpose. This one is about a particular perspective that Larry McInerney has, which is you're writing academic things and you think you're adding to human knowledge and the pile of knowledge and you're filling a gap. No, that's not the way you think about this. And so that's what we're talking about here. So what you should put in there, not now, you did fine, but now this weekend, put in an article by you or by somebody else
Sure.
and see what it says from this perspective, and feel free to neglect it. Now, if you ask ChatGPT to rewrite something, I insist, if you're taking my courses, Balan, that you tell me exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're writing a job application, nobody knows that.
Yeah.
And there's no good watermark right now for testing whether something's AI generated. There's too many false positives. So I think with scientific work, if you do data analysis, you don't have to say, I'm really grateful to Stata and R for helping me out.
Yeah.
You can use ChatGPT. It's just fine. You
That's
just say, you check the math, make sure it doesn't make any mistakes. You do a literature review with this help. You don't have to cite it. You have to do the literature review and make sure it's sound. And so this is an assistant, but it's not your writer. I hope you don't use it like that. But in terms of what do journals do? Many journals now insist that you include, is there AI material in here? Did you have AI generated images or graphs or anything else? Now the graphs, I don't think they mind, but the words. I just had a book thing where they said, in fact, the book you're going to get, it asked me what on this was AI generated, and the answer was the cover was. The rest of it was not.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Melissa? What was your experience with the prompt?
I loved it. I was telling, I had a really good conversation with John, and just so I put in a paper I wrote last year for my sociology of education class, and there's always areas for improvement. And my professor, gave me feedback, but it's a time issue too. It's I can meet with somebody at the writing center and they have their perspectives, which is fine. But the fact that it gave me more feedback, I guess the feedback I thought it was a good paper, it's like I worked on it really, really hard, but there were some things that I missed. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. That just helps me revise. And if I, want to write a grant later on, I know what I have to do. But just the time, oh my God, from the YouTube, the video, I mean, normally I would watch the YouTube video, take notes, go back to my paper and hope I see, or I would ask somebody to read it for me. But that research assistant, that rapid feedback is gold. I'm so excited. I came to this workshop. Oh my goodness, I will graduate next year. I can see myself just because of time. It helps. It's very efficient.
Good. Anybody else like to share some feedback?
Tobias brought up something good in our discussion, and it had to do with gender inclusive language and the model initially not producing gender inclusive languge. And we talked about, hey, you probably have to include additional prompts as a matter of what you may ultimately want.
So Manny, here's a way. I'm going to show you some just plain editor things. When Melissa talked about going to the writing center, what do they teach you how to do? Organize it. What are you trying to say? Organize it, write it well, have the right kind of language, don't have split infinitives or whatever they do. This one is completely different. It says, okay, you've done scientific work. Who's your audience? What are their problems that you're solving? And that just, whoa, okay. But now in terms of writing well, Manny, there's all sorts of things it can do to help you. I'll give you an example from Peru. Working with the government of Peru, and they had a meeting of 70 government officials, and they're putting out this big 7-page reglamento, and it's very complicated legalese. I think 3 of the lawyers in the room understood what it was about, and they're trying to get this out to all these bureaucracies to understand and use it. Good luck. So we asked ChatGPT in Espanol, please render this in 1 page that a person with a 12th grade education could understand. Bam. Just that fast. It came back. We took a coffee break. The 3 lawyers studied it, and we came back and said, this is a great start. Okay. So you just tell it, I want this to be gender inclusive from top to bottom, or I want this to be consistent with whatever ideology or religion you follow from top to bottom. It'll do it. So and you can think about it. What I like to do is say, give me a free market view, give me a Marxist view, give me an Islamic State view of the same problem. Or if you've got three different schools of thought in your field, in sociology, let's say, What would George Holman say? What would Talcott Parsons say? What would Karl Marx say? How would they interpret this problem? And you will get critical thinking. So I'm just trying to point out, Manny, that you may get something accidentally that may seem to you, oh, this doesn't look X enough for me. You just tell it. And it will do,
Yeah, I mean,
it will obey.
And then I was kind of surprised because I threw in one of my midterms from last semester, and it recognized that it was some sort of test because it went question by question and subpoint by subpoint, and then asking if what it provided was sufficient before moving on to the next question. And it did that question by question, and again subpoint by subpoint.
I know, it's daunting. So, you know, somebody said earlier, who was it that said, this is happening, we got to deal with it, right? You might go when you have those, oh my God moments, you said, I wish this didn't happen. I wish this never got, I wish our students didn't have this. I wish our professors didn't have it. I wish the scientific community didn't have, I wish journalists did, but it's there. And so now it's our job at the cutting edge of this reform. You guys are now revolutionaries on this. You're going to be thinking about, how do I use this and avoid misuse of this? And you know what's fun about this? Nobody knows the answer to that. The people who speak the most about it have not even tried it out, by the way. Oh, what about universal artificial general intelligence? And have you tried it yet? No, but I'm just worried that and isn't it Silicon Valley sensitive? Yeah, have you tried it yet? I'm just worried that it will make me lazy. Okay, have you? By the way, they're watching television while they're saying that. Okay, enough dialogue. Melissa, something more you want to add?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I didn't know it spoke in Spanish. I didn't know.
French.
And
every language.
yeah, I thought it was only English language, so I'm very excited
Adelante, give it a try.
about that. Thank you.
It will translate. I don't think I have another one I use for translation, DeepL. That Google Translate does well. DeepL has big manuscripts and does well. This one will do small amounts. I haven't tried doing like 100 pages on this, so you can tell me. All right, let me show you some more writing prompts that'll help you out. Whoops, that's not the one I wanted, is it? No. No, es este. How can you get what, Zhenzhou? What are you asking?
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I mean, Norman mentioned he get a yearly access for only $16 for a year.
Oh, I didn't get that. That's news.
Yeah.
It's news to me. Okay, you can buy him a drink afterwards. All right. Got so many pop-ups here, I can't get away from it. Okay, let's get rid of ChatGPT. All right. So this is the McInerney one. And here is one I like. This is from Sandra Portocarrero. You will see this in a document I prepared first in 2011 and then have been revising it over the years. It's now a 2022 version called Some Dissertation Wisdom. And this is what she says. She was refereeing papers one night, as professors have to do. And she said she was just frustrated. She said, I wish every journal would just tell their authors to make sure they say this. And I think it's a pretty good list. Maybe you begin with number 10, but it's a pretty good list. Now, here's a simple editor one. Put your document in. You're a friendly but firm expert on clear, engaging writing. Please study this, and you tell it it's a novel, short story, proposal, report, research paper. Please ask me questions about the audience, purpose, and any specific constraints or goals I have for this piece. Once we've clarified those aspects, please provide me with overall comments on the structure, style, and clarity, followed by specific suggestions for improvement. I'm going to put this in and let you give it a try. insert your document, you take that out, you use the paper clip. When you cut and paste, if it puts that little box in there, get rid of that box. And Lori, if you have trouble, you tell me right now when you have put it in there. Tell me if you have trouble. Thank you for this. Let's just take 2 more minutes on this.
Yeah, Professor, I before there would be a file icon and I could bring up the click on that and get your prompt and it would go over and create a
How you just get in there and cut and paste it. Just put your point in there and cut and paste. It's a little too late now. What we can do, Lori, if you're on campus sometime, you come by and we can go over this together, okay?
yeah, I'm not really driving right now. I'll get some vision problems and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watch. Can you?
Well,
okay.
This will be in the follow-up email, right? Or PowerPoint?
Well, yes, but the actual instructions of how to do it seem to be what you're having trouble with. Just how do you cut and paste things and put them in there? And that's not in the, you're gonna have to get somebody to, just sit with you for 10 minutes and then they'll show you how to do it. I will share my screen with you. Well, we have to go on. I'm sorry, Lori. We have too much to cover here.
It's
Let-
fine. I'm not alarmed. I can handle this later. It'll be fine.
All right. So what
Thank
you would,
you. Thank you, though.
it's okay. What you would do is cut and paste this and put it in the PowerPoint. Now here's another one. This is simplify. Put your document in there. This might be a long report or a technical paper you've done, and you have some people who want to read it. Jerica, did you have a point you want to make?
Yeah, I couldn't copy and paste it either. Like I know to like double click, and I even tried the command control because I have a Mac, but someone shared that they had to like take a photo and then use that photo and put it into it. So I don't know why you can't just automatically copy and paste, but I also have
Yeah.
that same problem.
Yeah, I don't understand that either because others are doing it. Well, let's see if you can do it with this one. You're an expert writer and communicator for diverse audiences. Please help me transfer this complex document into a one-page summary that is understandable for. Please begin by asking me any necessary questions about the audience's background knowledge, the context which they will use the summary, and any specific areas of concern or focus that I want to be highlighted. Then please provide a one-page summary for my audience, followed by a discussion with me to ensure that all points are covered accurately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this myself and take this part. I don't need to insert your document, copy it, close this, stop share. Then I'm going to put it into ChatGPT with that, continuing that article about the UBI article, long technical piece, and see how it does. I haven't done this before. Well, let's check it out. So we're going to go back over to the ChatGPT, which I've got to get back up. Sorry, going to recall that one. I turned it off. Okay. So now I'm going to share this. I've cut and pasted that prompt, and I'm going over to ChatGPT, and it's already looked at this article, right? This article by Darouk and Fernandez. So now I'm going to ask it, given that, I'm just going to ask it a new prompt. And I have to see this little icon here. I got to get rid of that. Remove. So now it likes, because that was a picture of some kind. This is it. Now your specific audience. Let's suppose the audience we want is ordinary citizens. This is about UBI now, right? Please provide a one. So it's going to ask me some questions.
What is UBI?
Universal basic income.
Oh, that. Okay.
So it asks me, what do they know about this? Are they familiar with UBI? See, that's a term that wasn't familiar. Are there specific demographics or professions that make up your audience? How will this summary be used? Community meetings, etc. What's the primary goal? To inform, to persuade? Are there specific aspects you want to emphasize more? Do you want to conclude any examples or analogies? Based on your responses, I can craft a one-page summary. Here's a draft outline we can refine together. What is UBI? Why is UBI gaining attention? What did the study find? And how is it financed? And why is it important? Discussions for refinement. Are there any concepts that you think would be needing? That's in less than 1 minute. So this would be a tremendous guideline for Darouk and Fernandez. Before they even address these questions, and they put in for different audiences, you would have different kinds of summaries. Begin differently. So what a tool. What a tool to get technocratic language and all this stuff that none of us understand unless we're botanists or biologists or global warming experts. Now we can get this down so we can try to understand why it's important. One final one that you'll find fun for your work is this one, which is creating an abstract. Now, for all sorts of things, you have to create an abstract. Sometimes it's an abstract for an academic journal. Sometimes it's an abstract for your students. Sometimes it's for an audience that you're trying to reach, the people you're trying to serve in the community. And you want to see what kind of summary you could have for them. And so this prompt is extremely helpful. And it also is one of those things that comes back in 1 minute. We're about to leave the writing space. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts about the writing prompts?
I appreciate you presenting these ideas. I will, you certainly are inspiring me to upgrade to the expensive version and use this tool.
Your willingness to pay has gone from $0 to $12. You're going to get there by the end of this thing. The next one I give you is going to say, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to do this.
There you go.
Because now I'm going to turn to briefings. So briefings are ways to present results to decision makers. The Rand Corporation, a think tank in Santa Monica, is probably the world's biggest and best think tank, meaning it has over 500 clients that pay it to take on huge questions like, how do you think about homelessness? Or what do we think about Chinese communist disinformation campaigns? Or what can we do to improve the efficiency of criminal justice systems? And what they do is they have these studies that might be multi-million dollars with anthropologists, mathematicians, economists, and so forth. And then they have to present it to the Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare, or Health and Human Services, or they have to present it to the Justice Department. And they don't care about the methodologies, the sample size, the use of difference and differences. They don't care about the literature review. They want to know, what on earth does it mean? And so here are the Rand principles for a briefing. What do they need to know? We've got all this stuff that's very interesting that our book readers want to know, but what does this audience need? The top-down structure we saw earlier, use an introduction to motivate the problem and establish structure. Exploit the outline thing throughout. Keep repeating that outline slide. Make only one point with each slide. Try to replace word charts with visuals. Think of each chart as a chunk of information and prune word charts to remove unnecessary text. So using Promptimus, which we saw earlier, I've created a device where you can use this to help you create a briefing for whatever thing you're doing. So let me show you how this works. Remember this Promptimus earlier where you give tell ChatGPT, it's now called Promptimus. And it's going to take your idea for what a prompt is and ask me the subject of the prompt. The prompt is going to be, Promptimus, please help me create a briefing for an audience of practitioners. Unlike an academic presentation, which often focuses on how the research was done, the data, methods, etc., a briefing for practitioners or citizens or decision makers has to get to the point quickly with the findings and the implications, and then the importance of the topic, and only a little on the methods. So you'll do that with Promptimus with your issue you're working on and your audience, and it will go through these iterations. It'll ask you questions, and after, it takes a little while, it might take 10 minutes to get the perfect prompt for helping you to create a briefing for whoever you want to talk to for 20 minutes to make it clear what your findings are and why they're important. So I urge you to give it a try. The briefings, we don't teach briefings here at CGU very well. It's taught a lot in business schools, public policy schools, public health schools, but we don't do much of it. This is academic. But I think many of you are practitioner-oriented, leadership-oriented, and so you have to get your results to people in ways they understand, and a briefing can be extremely helpful. Are you ready to turn to how they can help you with your personal life? And Chloe, I don't mean the menu that you get from taking a picture of your refrigerator. That's good. That's good too, but not that one. Let's go to this one.
I did look up ceviche recipes last week.
Okay, well, so now we have counselor on next steps for you. And I'm going to have you do one, but I'm going to show you another one and tell you about it. You as a teacher. So this is a famous lawyer, pretty famous lawyer, 20 years in as a law firm, big law firm. And he decided might want to teach a course, but he didn't know what he might teach. So he says, please play, with my help, please play the role of a dean of a leading and modern law school. You're reviewing the attached resume, this guy's resume, and helping the candidate, that's me, to generate 3 specific courses they begin teaching at your school. This is the dean telling you this. Looks at your resume and say, oh man, you could teach this. You want courses that are non-traditional but extremely relevant to the profession, to innovation within it. For Each course detail the clear key learning objective, why you think it's necessary to offer to your school, and why this candidate is a great candidate to teach it. And guess how long that took, by the way? You're getting the idea. Now the follow-up. This guy liked a course called Designing. Oh, he liked one called Leading and Managing Law Firms, which of course is very important for potential lawyers, but they don't teach it. I had one here, which was Designing and Managing Evaluations in the Real World. But this guy did this other one. And then your goal is to create a detailed syllabus, explain the rationale of the topic. It goes all the way down and creates the whole syllabus. Then you can tell it, no, I want more of this, more of that. Give me teaching tips for each class. Hard to believe it could do it, right? And it did it. Okay, but so now this guy's got this law school course. And now how about this one? Now help me write a letter to the dean. That was the dean doing this now at this law school, briefly describing this course, saying why it should be taught at their school, and making the case that I would be well suited to teach it. So any of you who are thinking about teaching part-time while you're a graduate student, or Inamar, if you're thinking about moving to Yale to teach there, this isn't a bad way to go, Inamar. Don't tell anybody, I don't want you to go, but if anybody says, where'd you get that idea? Not, you didn't hear it from me. Okay, let me show you one more.
I will not switch from the West Coast, California.
Okay, that's good to hear. Unfortunately, there's plenty of rivals around here, but shh, I'm not going to say it. Okay, let me show you one more that I'm actually going to ask you guys to try now. That one you can try at home. This is called your career counselor. You put your CV in there and it says, you're an experienced, encouraging psychologist and career counselor. Please look at the attached CV. That's me. I'm interested in exploring other jobs or maybe even further studies, perhaps in the areas of law enforcement, Coast Guard, rural agriculture, medicine, whatever you want to say. But I'm willing to consider other things. Please engage in a question and answers with me to help me identify my goals and think through the alternatives, including some options I may never have thought of. So now this one, I developed this about a year ago, and I had a friend visiting here, an amazing man. He's from Switzerland, Swiss Olympic rower in college, Harvard first 8, went to Stanford Business School, was a student of mine at Rand, got his PhD, went off to work for the World Bank in environmental economics, did very well, got tired of the grind and went back to Switzerland, where he's set up a foundation there which helps young people with sports. So they have all these activities working in communities with young people, and their modus operandi is sports. So when he comes through town, he sees me, wants to show me a new project or his portfolio. But this time he added, I'm thinking I'm 44. I'm thinking maybe I should think about something else now. And guess what I did? Hey, don't ask me, man. Let's get the ChatGPT prompt out here. And this very prompt, he put his CV in there. He spent 45 minutes with this. And afterwards, we had a beer, and he said, that's the most impressive 45 minutes I've ever had a discussion with anybody about my career. We've also done this with 11th graders thinking about college. My wife and I were thinking about an amazing opportunity to go somewhere for 3 years, and we used this together to put both of our resumes in there. And we decided to stay here, by the way. And it's the wonderful thing about it, if you really talk to a real counselor, it's a little embarrassing, You can't ask, it asks you, it's very friendly. You can't really say, well, I'm really insecure about this, because there's a real person listening and they're kind of snorting at you. No, it won't do that. So what I'd like you to do now, I don't know how to help you with this, Lori, except I'm going to put this into the chat again and see if you can cut it and paste it. Maybe I'll also.
Can you put it as
Go
a
ahead.
Word document?
Okay, I'll also put it as a Word document, or how about okay, I'll do that also. Okay, so let's get back. Yeah.
I'm really quite computer literate, but I feel I'm not looking good today.
Hey, you know what? We're all in this together, right? There's no disparagement, absolute none here for me, at least. I still have trouble with the, please insert your Exchange password twice a week. Do you guys get that? God, come on, man, give me a break. Okay, here comes the version that is a cut and paste version. Okay, that is coming your way. Now I'm going to put it in a Word file. Okay, we're gonna just find that one. Let's see where did it go though? That's an interesting question. Oh boy. Here it is. Okay. Good luck with one or the other. You know what I'm also gonna do? Put a PDF up there and see if that works.
Yeah,
For
you were
Laura.
commenting earlier that you thought PDFs were better.
Let's see if that works. Did you try either of those, Lori? Or are you waiting for the final roundup here to see?
I had the Word document came up.
Did it work?
Yeah, I'm copying that. And now I'm going to the prompt.
Okay, here's the PDF if that doesn't work.
Excuse me, Professor, I'm curious. So what is what is story and what ChatGPT give the advice for your friends?
You know, I didn't ask that question. It's not giving
Okay.
advice. It's not giving advice. It's talking through the goals, alternatives. It never makes a recommendation because we didn't ask it to. It's more like helping you think it through, including things you wouldn't have thought of. That's what's amazing. It says, well, given what you said, have you thought about this? And you go, no, I haven't. I haven't thought about that. Okay, so now this one also, Laura, you need your resume, your CV to put in there. You have to put that in there with that paper clip.
I just want to make a comment really quickly. I think it's from Zoom when you have to copy and paste it from Zoom to ChatGPT. It's not the PDF or the Word.
So neither one of those is working for you, Jerica, I mean?
No. It works when you give me the the Word document or the PDF. It's when you put it, you copy and you put it into Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. All right, give it a go. We'll give you about 10 minutes to see what happens. See how your life unfolds here. Jen has already been told she should join the army. No, that's not right, Jen. It's not giving you any advice. It's just walking through and asking you about, would you like to fire bazookas? Getting this pretty bad light here, sorry. Let's take, how about 2 more minutes with this? I'm in the shadows here. Let's take a quick 5 minutes to share your thoughts and what you learned from that. So I'll put you in groups again. And let's see. Tobias, would you please facilitate group 1? Jerica, would you facilitate group 2? Just get everybody to talk about their experience. Norma, would you please do group 3? And Lori, would you please do group 4? Question is, what did you learn from that experience? What did you enjoy? Can you get into the group 4 there, Lori? So Norma, who got the wildest advice or wildest idea in your group? Norma, did you hear me? I was asking who had the wildest idea.
I'm like, who did he call on?
I
Yeah.
would say, who got the wildest idea, suggestion, for something they hadn't thought of in your group?
I think that we just talked about what popped up, and Alvaro was sharing that that it actually presented companies in the local area for him. That was super helpful.
Wow.
I don't know if you want to add anything, Alvaro, to that.
Specific. Well, I just want to get an impression. It is surprising, isn't it, what it can come up with? And imagine you could spend the 45 minutes, right? Quite easily. Bring your significant others into it. Give a different resume, as Tobias was told. Try a different one. Yeah, so there's all those things. Well, we only have a few minutes left, sadly, so I have couple more things to show you, and then a couple of questions for you. That didn't work. So I'd give it a try, which you did. Your thoughts about that. But let me ask you to take a minute and suppose you're talking to another graduate student here at CGU and you tell them, yeah, I went to this workshop about AI, and they're going, oh yeah, what was it? What did you learn from it that's important? What could I take away from it? Like the value thing that we learned about from McInerney. So let's hear some ideas about that. I'd like everybody to say something, but I'll let you volunteer to go first if somebody wants to go first.
Yeah, I could
Raise
volunteer.
your hand. Or just put the click button on the hand button. Okay, Norma, go ahead.
Okay. So I didn't realize that it could actually you upload a data file and it could actually give you statistics for it. And so that's super helpful. I figure that once I collect data, depending on how much it does, I could put it up there, see what it gives me. And it's a great, I think, guiding point. I mean, if the stats are correct, which I would check, and all of the analyses, but I think from the other things that I saw that it shoots back at us, sometimes, and you mentioned it, and it was mentioned today and at some point in the presentation that it gives you information or thoughts that you hadn't thought about, perhaps. And so I think that's what I feel is valuable, that you have thought about so many things, but then there are things that you haven't thought about that when it presents it, like, this is super awesome. The graphs and everything. So the data analysis part was something very new. I didn't know that it could do that with a data file. I think that's what I would share with people.
So with your beverage of choice and your favorite data set, go and do some fancy stuff with it. Tell it to run a logit regression, interpret the coefficients for you, so forth. Ask if there are influential observations. It'll do all that.
Yeah, the interpretation part was, that was pretty cool.
Okay, Itamar, how about you? You're muted right now, though, Itamar.
So, yeah, sorry. So for me, the main takeaway is that I really thought that it's mainly conversational AI. And now from today, I understand that it's also a brainstorming AI. I mean, it's a different level of interaction. I facilitated, as a facilitator in my life, many brainstorming sessions with people, but I think that this is amazing, the way that you can, I think 99% of the people that use ChatGPT, they ask questions and get answered, questions and answer. And here you flipped it around, all the way around, and it's amazing. So thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it. How about you, Balan?
Yeah, I think it's kind of as Dr. Shabtai said, the thing that I learned is I've always asked one question saying, it just solve this for me. But I love the way you write that initial prompt wherein you are asking it to role play, right? And setting that parameter first. So that was a great education. The second one was like what you did. You said, read this YouTube article first, read this thing, and I want you to use that in the criticism of this, right? Which is the subsequent. I think those are the two great lessons for me to really look at some critical analysis of, whatever it is that we will be researching.
Thank you. Jason? Jen, just push your click button on your
Okay.
hand there, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason?
Yeah, so I would say the key takeaway for me is that this is a tool that you want to have in your arsenal because it's going to help you think through your problems fully or more fully before you put pen to paper or begin your research projects, and that it will help you go from having that blank document where you're like, I want to work on this project, and you might have a research question or one topic, and you say, I think when I work on my own, I'm going to put it in this one direction, but putting it into ChatGPT and having it act as that brainstorm, that session to help you think through all these different aspects and pose questions that you wouldn't have posed to yourself before you really get going on the project is such an advantage and helps you put your output, make your output greater than it would be on its own. So I think if you ask ChatGPT, answer this question, it's going to do an okay job. You doing it on your own, you'll do a pretty good job, but together it's really going to produce a much higher quality output than either could produce on its own.
Excellent. Melissa, you're next in the queue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of what everybody said, but I typically use it to ask it a question, right, or refine this sentence, give me options. And I really liked how it's all about the prompt and how like the role play that I didn't know it could do that. And it's like my virtual tutor, at 3 a.m. in the morning, which I'm up. I don't have to worry about, oh, nobody's available at the writing center at 3 a.m. But I'm up at 3 a.m. I feel like I'm gonna get maybe like a little bit more sleep because I watch a lot of YouTube videos if I don't understand something or I'm reading something, and it just takes a lot of time, which I understand, and then I have to do my project. But I think this will help me, pick and choose which ones I want to watch and which ones I can let ChatGPT give me the gist so that I can, move to the main goal. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Jen, you were in the queue. Did you drop out of the queue?
Okay, yeah. I think AMAZING, amazing. And for me, ChatGPT is just you ask question and then you get answers. And today I found you can not only, ChatGPT can also ask me questions and make me to think further and also maybe from different perspective. That's really amazing. And also for me, because my major is history, so I like the literature review and data set. I will use more time and energy to try to research how to use it more efficiently in the future. And I think one of another things I want to mention is I think at least almost 4 hours I achieve a lot and also make some new friends. I think even though we are in different majors, but I still hope one day in the future we can meet in person on campus. Okay, the professors and also the new friend. Thank you.
Excellent. Just let me know when. Alvaro.
So I found this as a great personal assistant. I really hadn't been using it as much as I should have. And I think with that our schedules we're always busy, right? With school and full-time work. And sometimes some of my papers I write like last minute and I don't have people to go over it and not only that, but there's only so much that you can like come up with on your own paper. And with this here, we're able to get new information, refine our writing and our writing style, and it helps us out now and for our future papers. So I thought this was great. Thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you. How about you, Chloe?
I think the biggest thing that I learned was giving the ChatGPT the role. I didn't use that before as much, and that's really helped me, I think, use it to the best of its abilities. So that's my big thing.
That is a good takeaway. How about you, Jerica?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of echo what Chloe said. Also, I think I go back and forth with like ideas and thoughts. And I think I like the whole back and forth, being able to build on my ideas and kind of like narrow them down at the same time, because I think sometimes I'm looking at big picture and I need to like break that down a little bit more.
Nice. Lori, you're next on my screen there. How about you?
The literature review assistance sounds very valuable to me because there's so much to read and it's difficult to get it all done. And this would, you could post the article to your ChatGPT and get a summary of the article, and that would be tremendous. And also, I like this conversational technique where it's asking me to think more clearly, which I was doing already. I would have to pose like up to 8 questions to get the info I wanted. But now this conversational AI will be even better. So this meeting has been totally worth my time. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. How about you, Godfrey?
Thank you. Like others, I agree. One of 2 learnings for me, I've been the one asking ChatGPT a couple of questions and it answers, but now you've helped me to flip the script, think through the prompt, give guidelines, and then it will also help you to reason and think better to get a good product. Secondly, I've been able to sign up for the paid account because I reached somewhere I've always wanted, but I couldn't find the reason. But I think this training has helped me find that reason to use it more. Thank you.
Nice. Tobias?
No, today was amazing. First, I agree with everybody else. ChatGPT is an amazing conversation partner. Number 2, I think it's going to make me an even better conversation partner in all of my interactions. And then number 3, there's one thing I noticed. ChatGPT would pick up details that I discarded later on in my conversations. So from conversation 1, I might be focused on 2 and 3 in my, later on, but then it'll go back to number 1 and remember the small detail that I brought up earlier in the conversation. And so to the extent that humans are likely to discard details because we're really focused on certain things, ChatGPT might be able to bring up other details that I've, left behind, so to speak. So this is gonna be amazing. Thanks.
I'm glad you liked it. How about you, Manny?
Yeah, I mean, I use the LLMs quite a bit, but I like attending these because like all the prompts that you provided always give a different spin on, how you could ultimately use the tools so that, the thing I really got out of the class was how you approached the prompt engineering aspect and kind of like other people noted, kind of flipping the tables with regard to how you use the data and one of the things I found in using the different models is I a lot of times will use the same question and drop it into ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini, and you kind of get a little different spin with regard to the particular answers, and you get more coverage that way.
Well, again, if you think of it as a search engine, you're going to get different. If you think of it as a conversation partner, it'd be very interesting to see if in that sense you get different things. You certainly will get something. All right, well, can you wait 2 more minutes, guys? We're almost done. 2 more minutes here. You guys have been very patient. It's been fun to meet you. So please email me at this address, Robert Klitgaard at CGU, and I'll send you the PowerPoint, all the prompts, this thing, some dissertation wisdom, the key points from Larry McInerney. And I hope you take a look at this on my website. Also, it's a cafe website. There's this brand new book, came out 10 days ago, 2nd edition of Using ChatGPT in Graduate Education. This is more on the teaching side. It has testimonials. The book has testimonials from Chasen and Elisa. But Chasen, you're going to be amazed to see there's now an audio book, which I engineered using 11 labs. There's something like 10 computer-generated voices. And Shayla, Jason, your testimony was without any naming who you are, was read by somebody. See if you like it. It's, to me, it's astonishing. You can get the audiobook for free and just listen to the first 5 pages of it. And you realize these are computer voices. Are you kidding me? What is going on here? Another one of those, oh my God moments. Well, really a pleasure to be with you today. I know it's a busy time. You got vacation times, you got class finals and so forth. So I really appreciate getting a chance to meet you. And I hope we do cross paths. I'm going to be traveling a lot this fall going around, but you know how to get me on email now, and I'd love to get together with you in person. So thanks very much, and I'll see you around campus.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Yes, it was very educational.
Thank you very much.
I've used the word amazing so many times today.
Well, that's good.
Oh, there it is.
There's the email slide that somebody asked for.
So email you with our email for the information?
Well, if you email me, presumably there'll be an email return address, right? So,
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
okay. Good.
All right. Thank you again.
Okay, see you, Melissa.
Awesome. Actually, Bob, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Because I came in a couple minutes late. You're a professor where? What department? I missed.
Yeah, I'm what's called a university professor, which means I can teach in
Okay.
any of the faculties and pay for
okay.
the central administration. But I teach in the School of Social Science, Policy, and Economics, and I also
okay.
teach 2 transdisciplinary courses. One on working across cultures, and the final exam is tomorrow, and the other is public-private nonprofit collaboration to take on big issues.
Oh, very nice. Okay, well, very nice to meet you. Thank you
Same
very
here.
much. This was
Okay, Melissa.
wow. Thank you.
care.
Have a great day.
Glad you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.